Are you struggling with people stealing packages from your doorstep? We have a solution that'll really put the pressure off of you and back onto the thieves. Our product utilizes two deterrent mechanisms. Our first is our CO2-powered powder blaster, which is a 12-gram CO2 cartridge hooked up to a check valve that is controlled by a 12-volt DC motor. And when your box is opened, the DC motor opens up this valve, and a lot of high-pressure gas is released onto the bottom of this funnel. And you can fill up this funnel with whatever you want. Personal favorite would be itching powder, so it sprays all over your thief and gives them a real bad day. But you can put in basically whatever you wanted. You put in something explosive if you really wanted to, but in this scenario, itching powder is a little better for helping the box survive as well. And our second deterrent is we have our pulsing air horn, which is, again, ran off of and controlled by a 12-volt DC motor. This one won't stop opening, though, whereas with our powder blaster, it would open one turn and all the CO2 would exit. This one will just keep on going. It'll keep pulsing and hitting the top using a cam lobe sort of design, where each time it comes around, it'll press the button, so the motor will just keep on spinning until either the box is closed or the box is disarmed again. It'll really give your thieves a bad day and hurt their ears a lot. My product is controlled using a Arduino microprocessor, which can be turned on and off with an IR remote and receiver that is located on the side of the box. We also have an indicator LED light to make sure you know when your box is armed or disarmed. In terms of triggering our deterrents that are in the box, we have a limit switch so that when the box lid is opened all the way, then the circuit will be completed in the switch circuit, and the Arduino will know to turn on the motors. And our two deterrents that I just talked about are both controlled by two 12-volt DC motors that are hooked up to 3D printed parts that I created. They're driven off of an H-bridge, off of a 12-volt battery that we have inside the box. All right, so the way the code works on my product is the first thing you do once you plug in all the leads is your box will be waiting for you to press that IR remote. So there's two functions on your IR remote. One is to turn on and arm the box, and the second is to close the CO2 valve or run the motor backwards in the other direction. So first off, let's say you arm the box by pressing the power button on the IR remote. Now there's two options. If your limit switch is open, like if the box is all the way open, then your deterrents are just going to go off. It's going to turn on the air valve motor for a cycle, and the CO2 valve is going to be opened, and the air horn motor is just going to turn on and keep pulsing until you turn off the box. But if it's closed, then the box is just going to be set. The limit state of the limit switch is going to be set to off, and the box is not quite triggered yet. And that means your motors will not be turned on. As long as your box is closed, then you won't be spraying yourself. You'll just be arming it harmlessly. And then while these things, let's say someone opens it, or you open it by accident, all you have to do to make sure you stop waking up your neighbors with your air horn is you got to take your remote and point it at your IR sensor and turn your box off by pressing the same button you used to turn it on. So that way, if you accidentally do set off your box, you have a way to turn it off, but your thief probably won't have an IR remote on hand, so they'll be in more trouble. The code that'll run the IR remote, the signal backwards, or it'll close your CO2 valve, that one's independent from the rest of the circuit, so you can close it after you've opened your box all the way, because your air valve motor won't keep running, as opposed to the air horn motor. And for this final bit, we got our actual Arduino code that we have. I won't go through it all because I just explained most of how it works, but if y'all want to stop and pause at sections you want, it's all labeled and commented, and you can take a look. Thank y'all for watching. If you're interested in purchasing, please give the phone number below a call. Starting price is going to be $49.96. Thank you.